Return of the Giants from the Hollow Earth, Terra Infinita, and the Inner World. New book available. You will find the links below.
Terra Infinita and the Hollow Earth. For many years, ideas about the Hollow Earth were either misunderstood or co-opted by the very system that thrives on confusion, warped by misleading depictions, blurred by deceptive illustrations, even mocked from the start. We were told about a sphere floating in the same void, with openings at what are called its poles, about an inner sun suspended at its center, about civilizations living on the concave face of that supposed bull. But what if all of that was also part of the deception of the very system we are immersed in? Nos confunden. The truth is that the real conception of the hollow earth differs profoundly from the notion of a hollow sphere. The confusion was likely seeded on purpose. What better than a theory branded conspiratorial and contrary to the establishment, one that ironically reinforces the idea of a spherical earth adrift in the void? In reality, and to keep it brief, what exists is an extended land, a flat surface with great distances and varying elevations, enclosed by great walls and covered by an invisible dome projector. A land that branches and forks inward through portals, caverns, and tunnels that push beneath the known continents and seas. And not only within the known lands, beyond the walls, where the other continents of Terra Infinita stretch out, an entire unknown world also exists beneath our feet. This land isn't hollow in the spherical sense. It is hollow in its depth. It contains within itself other levels, chambers, intraterrestrial cities, ancient races, cyclopean structures, and secret routes that connect lost worlds below, and above all, Anakim giants who survived the Great War prior to the last reset of 1728. These entrances, some sealed, others guarded by hostile races or ancestral sentinels, have never been accessible to ordinary people because they were concealed since time immemorial by those who designed this system of the dome projector, the custodians, the Anunnaki, and their allies, considered lesser races. Nos confunden. In ancient texts, many cultures spoke of the underworld, not as an infernal or symbolic dimension, but as a literal region that has always existed. They called it the world below, the deep world, or Sheol, as recorded in old Hebrew writings. The inhabitants there weren't the dead, but living beings, hidden, displaced, or simply out of our reach. Sheol wasn't hell. It was described as a subterrestrial plane of existence, the lower boundary of this land, just before the lower dome, where every three-dimensional structure meets yet another limit that divides it. Just as the sky is simulated by the upper dome, Sheol marks the boundary from below, an inverted dome that also contains, that defines how far it is possible to go. In this way, the hollow earth is not a spinning ball, but a series of levels, interlinked strata, each one a reality very different from our own. Terra Infinita represents the upper horizontal level, the visible outer world extending beyond the ice walls, but it also stretches downward into the invisible, into what is neither projected in the skies nor taught in today's schools. That is where the two ideas converge. Terra Infinita and the hollow earth do not oppose one another. They complement each other. The first represents horizontal expansion. The second, vertical expansion into the depths. Both were deliberately erased from our history, like many of their principal actors, the giants. Nos confunden. The confusion was seeded by the same forces that from the beginning wanted human beings to believe there is no more world than the ground underfoot, no more land than what the eye can see, nothing beyond the skies we look at each day. They presented us with a sphere floating in nothingness and, for the more daring, a hollow one. But few have managed to see that the true structure is concentric, stratified, intelligently designed to imprison not only flesh, but our connection to the whole of its surroundings. Let me say this in advance. There are also humans living down there. Along the path through the inner passages, changes of every kind appear, above all, changes in thought. Down there, thoughts do not feel the same, not at all. Deprived of the distorting frequency of the dome above and the ice walls, the mind seems to shed imposed layers and filters. The mental chatter quiets. The noises induced by the artificial interference implanted across the recent resets fall silent, at least for a while. That is when one comes upon what seemed extinct, an inner clarity that emerges with great intensity. It is there that beings many would call mythological actually dwell, beings as real as the ground beneath our feet. Tartarian remnants endure there, luminous systems without electricity, cities without the sky we know, yet immersed in a vibratory field so pure one might feel the soul itself. The Anakim, giants of remote times, do not exist only in outer history. They live in the underground cities, far from distortion and the custodial system. They took refuge there when the chaos of the war began and the floods were set in motion. Nos confunden. The technology of their chambers and the radar system they operate is so advanced they can emit frequencies beyond the dividing ice walls. Deeper still lies Sheol, which is not merely a physical space. It is a reminder that the lower boundary exists as well. Just as there is a dome above that simulates stars and planets, there is one below that prevents a total descent. The outer world and the inner are split once again. Thus, we can say the hollow earth exists, but not as it has been presented, and it exists together with Terra Infinita, which encompasses it all. Truth lies neither in maps nor in telescopes. It lies in the erased memory, in the buried layers of consciousness they have tried to wipe from our reality, replacing it with something entirely artificial. So I invite you on this journey through the interiors of our lands, where unimaginable passages cut their way between tunnels and great roots, and where a technology difficult to describe is reborn in the very darkness below. YouTube channel Nos Confunden.
Return of the Giants from the Hollow Earth. Terra Infinita in the Inner World. New book available. You will find the links below.